Your alarm goes off, and before your feet touch the floor, your thumb is already moving through messages, headlines, and somebody else's perfect morning. The coffee gets cold on the counter. Your workout clothes sit in the corner like evidence, and the to-do list on your phone already feels too big for a Tuesday. By the time you leave the house, you have promised yourself you will start over tonight. But some quiet part of you is already asking why you keep failing at habits you actually want. That is the part we need to talk to. Because most people do not fail at change because they are weak. They fail because the habit is too large, too vague, and too easy to delay. Get healthy. Be more disciplined. Fix your life. Those are not habits. Those are heavy backpacks. And when your brain sees a backpack that big, it starts looking for the nearest exit. This is where Japanese habits become useful not as magic and not because Japan is perfect. Useful principles only matter when they fit into your actual kitchen, your commute, your lunch break, your tired evening. You do not need to become a different person. You need behaviors small enough that your brain stops arguing with them. 1 minute, 1 bite slower, 1 object put back, 1 walk with no phone. That is why tiny habits can create such visible change. They do not ask for a dramatic new identity on day 1. They ask for 1 move you can repeat even when life is messy. And if you can repeat it, you can build trust with yourself again. The first habit starts with making change so small there is almost no friction left to fight. The first habit is Kaizen, and it is for the part of you that keeps saying, "I'll start Monday." Your workout clothes are still folded in the corner. The book on your nightstand has a bookmark on page 6. And the kitchen counter has 1 small pile that somehow makes the whole room feel out of control. You are not even avoiding a hard life change. You are avoiding the feeling of starting something too big. Because once the plan becomes go to the gym 5 days a week, your body hears pressure. Once the plan becomes read every night the book, starts feeling like homework. Once the plan becomes get my home together, that 1 pile turns into proof that you are behind. Kaizen means continuous improvement, but not dramatic improvement, not the kind where you buy the planner, clear your schedule, announce a new routine, and quietly quit by Thursday. Kaizen is improvement so small it slips past your resistance. Toyota made this idea famous by asking workers to keep finding tiny ways to improve the process, instead of waiting for 1 giant fix. That is the part most people miss. You do not need a heroic mood to do a tiny action. You need an action so small that your excuses look ridiculous standing next to it. So instead of planning the perfect comeback, do 1 push-up. Read 1 page. Clear 1 plate from the counter. Put your shoes by the door before bed. That is not nothing. That is you teaching your brain, I can start without making it a whole production. Tonight, do not redesign your life. Pick 1 thing that takes less than 60 seconds and make it almost stupidly easy. 1 plate. 1 page. 1 push-up. 1 tiny preparation for tomorrow. And once you can take 1 tiny step, the next question is why you are taking it in the first place. The second habit is ikigai, and it starts in that heavy little moment when you are sitting in the car before work with your hand still on the keys. The engine is off. The parking lot is already filling up. Your calendar is full. Your bills are real. Your inbox is waiting. But some quiet part of you wonders if life is just errands, paychecks, notifications, and getting through another week. That is the ache Ikigai speaks to. Ikigai means a reason for being. And instead of asking for a perfect destiny, it asks 4 normal questions. What do you love? What are you good at? What do people need from you? And what could help support your life? Not your dream job, not your 5-year plan, not some huge answer that arrives while you stare at the ceiling at midnight. Just 4 handles you can grab when life feels like one long loop. The Ikigai purpose framework is commonly taught through that overlap: what you love, what you can do well, what the world needs, and what can sustain your life. In Okinawa, people often speak of Ikigai less like a career slogan and more like a small reason to keep participating in the day. That matters because a blank day is exhausting in a different way. When there is no clear why, every task feels heavier. The email is not just an email. The commute is not just a commute. Even brushing your teeth can feel like proof that you are only maintaining a life you are not fully living. So do not try to discover your purpose tonight. Write one honest sentence. Today, I want to be useful to my family. I want to become strong enough to trust myself again. I want to make one corner of my life calmer. Then leave that sentence somewhere boring, on a sticky note, in your notes app, next to the keys you are holding in the car. Purpose does not have to shout before it can guide you. The 3rd habit is hara hachibu, and it is for the nights when dinner becomes something you barely notice. You are on the couch with takeout open, the show already playing, and you keep reaching for another bite or another fry, mostly because it is still there. The container is warm on your lap. Your eyes are on the screen. Your hand keeps moving before your stomach has had a chance to speak. Hara hachibu means eating until you are roughly 80% full. Not hungry, not stuffed. Just satisfied enough to stop before the heavy feeling arrives. In Okinawan eating practice, people use the phrase "before meals" as a small reminder. Stop at about 80% full before the body has to complain. There is no calorie app in that sentence. No punishment. No dramatic diet identity you have to perform on Monday morning. The reason it works is simple. Fullness is not instant. Your stomach and your attention do not always report at the same speed. So if the screen is loud, the food is easy, and the next bite is already in your hand. You can pass comfortable without noticing the exact moment it happened. That is why the couch and takeout moment matters when the food screen and habit are all moving faster than your body's signals. One pause can stop the meal from running on autopilot. Try this at your next meal. Halfway through, put the fork down. Take one slow breath. Ask, "Could I stop soon and feel okay?" You do not have to stop right there. You just have to wake up inside the meal. Because healthier eating may not begin with control. It may begin with noticing the first quiet signal before discomfort has to get loud. The 4th habit is Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing, and it is for the afternoon, when you have been sitting under fluorescent lights, answering messages, and somehow feel exhausted, even though your body barely moved. Your shoulders are up near your ears, your eyes feel dry. You walk outside and still reach for your phone, because quiet feels strange when your day has been nothing but tabs, pings, and replies. Shinrin-yoku is not a hike. It is not a workout. It is not a step count walk, where you turn nature into another task to complete. It is 10 slow minutes on a tree-lined street, a campus path, a small city park, or even the edge of an office parking lot. Phone in your pocket, no podcast, no goal. Just notice the air, the bark, the shade, and your breathing. Trees release aromatic compounds called phytoncides, and one reason forest bathing may feel different from walking through a mall is that your body is taking in a calmer set of signals. Ching Li at Nippon Medical School tested this in 2009 by having 12 healthy men sleep for 3 nights in hotel rooms with hinoki cypress oil vapor, a phytoncide source, and found higher natural killer cell activity, plus lower adrenaline and noradrenaline afterward. You do not need to remember the chemistry. The human meaning is simple. You are not trying to become athletic in that moment. You are giving your body trees quiet and sensory attention, so it can shift out of constant alert mode. So try it once this week. Stand near trees for 10 minutes. Look at one leaf, one branch, one patch of shade. Let your breathing get boring again. Sometimes recovery is not another routine to optimize. The 5th habit is wabi-sabi, and it is for the moment when you look up from a perfect apartment tour online and suddenly feel embarrassed by your own normal room. There is a chipped mug in the sink, a scratched kitchen table, an old hoodie hanging off the chair, a messy desk you meant to clean 3 days ago. And maybe, when you pass the mirror, a scar, a tired face, or a body that does not look like the edited lives you just scrolled past. That tiny drop in your chest is not about the mug. It is the feeling that your life is being graded by a camera angle. Your room is not dirty enough to be a disaster, but not polished enough to feel proud of. So you start scanning everything. The stack of mail, the unfinished corner, the lamp you still have not replaced. Even your own face becomes another thing to improve. Wabi-sabi comes from a Japanese aesthetic tradition shaped by Zen ideas. It means accepting imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness as part of beauty. Not as an excuse to let everything fall apart, as a way to stop treating every mark as evidence against you. A chipped mug can mean it has been used. A scratched table can mean people have eaten there, worked there, leaned their elbows there, while life was happening. An old hoodie can mean comfort, not failure. And a scar is not always a flaw. Sometimes it is the receipt from something you survived. Here is the practice tonight. Pick one imperfect thing in your room or on your body. Look at it for 5 seconds without fixing it, hiding it, or apologizing for it. Then say, "Not everything imperfect is a failure. Some things are proof that life is happening." Let your shoulders drop a little. Put the mug in the sink if it needs washing, but do not turn the whole room into a trial. The 6th habit is gaman, and it starts in the driver's seat, after a bad workday, with your phone in your hand, a tense text thread open, and your first instinct is to rant, post, quit, or send the message you know will make tomorrow worse. Your jaw is tight. The seatbelt is still across your chest. You can already picture the comeback, the paragraph, the dramatic exit that would feel good for about 8 minutes. Then tomorrow would arrive. Gaman means endurance with dignity, not pretending you are fine, not swallowing everything until your body turns it into headaches, silence, or resentment, and not refusing support because you think strong people never need anyone. In Japanese culture, shaped through Zen practice, wartime hardship and everyday family life, gaman became a resilience norm. Tolerate difficulty without letting pain choose your behavior or become your whole identity. That last part matters because there is a difference between saying, "I am hurt," and building a permanent home inside the hurt. One asks for care, the other hands the steering wheel to the worst moment of the day. So in that car, do not shame yourself for feeling angry. Feel it. Let your hands loosen around the phone. Take one breath before the reply. Then name the next right step out loud. Drink water. Answer later. Walk into the house calmly. Send the application again tomorrow. This is hard, and I can handle the next step. That sentence does not erase the pain. It just stops the pain from driving. And when you can sit there, breathing in a parked car, choosing one clean next move instead of one messy reaction, something changes. If you can regulate yourself in private, the next habit shows how you change the room around you. The seventh habit is omoiyari, and it shows up in the tiny moment right before you leave a shared space. You are walking away from a gym bench with sweat still on it, or an office microwave with sauce on the handle, or a grocery cart sitting loose in the parking lot while the wind starts pushing it towards somebody's car, or a coffee shop table with crumbs, napkins, and one sticky ring where your cup used to be. Nobody may say anything. Nobody may even notice it was you. But the next person feels the room you left behind. Omoiyari means compassionate consideration, not being fake nice, not performing kindness so people think you are a good person. It is the small pause before your convenience becomes someone else's irritation. Before you move on, ask one clean question. Will the next person have an easier time because I was here? That question changes ordinary behavior fast. Wipe the bench, return the cart. Move your bag off the extra seat. Lower the speakerphone in the waiting room. Clean the microwave handle. Return the charger before someone has to ask twice. These are tiny actions, but they change the emotional temperature around you. A shared space either says, "Someone thought of you," or "Deal with what I left." And you already know the difference in your body. You feel it when you walk into a clean laundry room and the dryer is empty. You feel it when someone holds the elevator because your hands are full. You feel it when the break room is not another little problem waiting for you. Kindness becomes real when it makes life easier for the next person. The eighth habit is kintsugi, and it is for the memory you still avoid, because it makes you feel like something in you is permanently broken. Maybe it was a breakup you did not see coming. Maybe it was a job loss that made you feel smaller in every room afterward. Maybe it was burnout, where you kept answering, people kept smiling on calls, and privately stopped recognizing yourself. Or maybe it was one public mistake, one private failure, 1 year you still edit out when people ask. So, how have you been? Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with visible gold. The crack is not erased, it is joined carefully, patiently, and honestly. That is the part people miss. Kintsugi is not saying the break was good, it is saying the object is not disposable because it broke, and neither are you. Repair is not a mood, repair is an action. It is writing the apology you have been avoiding. It is updating the resume after the layoff, even if your chest tightens when you open the laptop. It is telling one trusted person, that season changed me, and I am still rebuilding. It is learning the warning signs that came before the burnout, so your next life is not built on the same silence. In Japanese repair art, broken pottery is restored with visible gold, making the cracks part of the object's story instead of something to hide. The human meaning is simple enough to carry. You do not heal by pretending nothing happened. You heal by refusing to let the worst chapter become your whole name. So tonight, choose one crack and make one repair move. Send the email. Book the appointment. Delete the photo. Write the lesson in one sentence, not a speech, just one honest line. This hurt me, but it did not finish me. Let that sit in your body for a second. You are not starting over from zero. So tonight before bed, do not plan a whole new life in your notes app. Just pick one tiny choice for tomorrow. Kaizen makes change small. Ikigai gives it direction. Hara Hachibu slows the body. Shinrin-yoku resets the mind. Wabi-sabi releases perfection. Gaman builds quiet strength. Omoyari improves the space around you. And kintsugi helps you repair what broke. You do not need to master all 8 this week. Choose one word. Make it embarrassingly easy. Let it become normal. Because tiny habits become massive when they stop feeling like projects and start becoming part of who you are. That might be one page instead of a new personality. One slower meal instead of a strict diet. One quiet walk instead of another hour of scrolling. One repaired email. One wiped counter. One breath before the reply. This is not about pretending Japanese habits create a perfect life. They do not. They are useful because they give your messy, real American Tuesday a smaller handle to grab. You are not behind because you need a dramatic transformation. You are building trust with yourself in votes so small nobody else may notice them at first. But you will. If one habit feels like your place to begin, comment its name below. Kaizen, Ikigai, Hara Hachibu, Shinrin-yoku, Wabi-sabi, Gaman, Omoyari, or Kintsugi.